Hello all, welcome. In this video, we will see one basic bank example using core Java. Now let's begin. I'm creating a new Java project. Let's say the project name as banking. Now inside this project, let me create one package. Let me click the package button. Let's say the package name com.learnclearly.banking. Now inside this package, I'm creating the required classes. First of all, let me create the bank account class. The class name is bank account. This class contains the variables such as account number, customer name. Let me declare them. Integer account number, private string customer name, and then private integer account balance. Now let me generate constructors, getters, and setters. Source constructors from superclass. This is done. And then source constructors using fields. This is done. Now I want to generate getters and setters. So generating select all and then generate getters and setters. Apart from the getter setters and constructors, we will add some methods such as withdraw, deposit. So here we'll do that. So public void deposit. So this method will take the amount that need to be deposited, integer deposit amount. And let's say we will add this deposit amount to the account balance. Let's say account balance plus is equal to deposit amount. After the deposit is completed, and even some of the method withdraw is completed. So public void withdraw method. So integer withdraw amount. Okay. So before withdrawing this amount, so let's say we need to account balance minus is equal to withdraw amount. So this will deduct the account balance with this particular amount. But before actually withdrawing this, deducting this amount, we should first of all check if this account balance contains this much amount in order to perform the withdrawal. So if the amount is not available to withdraw, we need to throw an exception. So let's add that particular logic before this statement. So what we need to do is, if withdraw amount is greater than the account balance, we need to throw an exception. That is the user defined exception. If you're not familiar with exceptions, creating user defined exceptions, try, catch, throw, or any other topic related to core Java, please watch my complete Java tutorial, which has more than 100 examples, which is an in-depth tutorial. So throw new insufficient balance exception. And this class is not there, so we need to create this class. So we can place the mouse pointer here and then click this option, create class insufficient balance exception. It is asking us in which project folder, in which package. Let me click the finish button. Now the class is created. And inside this class, we need to override the toString method from the object class. Once again, if you're not familiar with object class, toString method, overriding, or any other topics related to core Java, please watch my complete core Java tutorial, which is an in-depth tutorial with more than 100 examples. Public string toString. So here what I'm doing is return, let's say, balance not sufficient. Okay, something like this one. We can do whatever message we want. And because this is this is a checked exception, we need to use the surrounding try catch block, or otherwise the throws keyword for this particular statement. So in this case, I'm taking this try catch block. So surround with try catch. This is now completed. Now we have the deposit method and withdraw method. So if the withdraw method is greater than the account balance, this throws an exception. Otherwise, the amount will be. So what we'll do is here, after performing the deposit or otherwise after performing the withdraw, we need to store the details of this deposited amount and for which account this is deposited and done inside one transaction. For that, we create, so here, after performing deposit, we need to store the deposit details in an object of a transaction class. Okay, and then store that object in some collection such as linked list for future reference. So the same thing is applicable to withdraw also. So we'll do the same thing after performing the withdrawal process. So we need to do this withdraw. Okay, so first of all, let's create the required classes such as transaction or something else. So first of all, let me create a new class here inside this one, new class. Let's say the class name as transaction. This transaction class contains the details such as the transaction number, which will be randomly generated, private integer transaction number, and the transaction account, the account number to which this transaction belongs, account number, and let's say the amount, the transaction amount, that is whether the amount of a withdrawal or deposit, whatever it is, and the type of the transaction, private string, or transaction type, whether this transaction is done for withdrawal or deposit. And even we want to get the balance after this transaction, private integer balance after this transaction. So all these details are stored inside the transaction object. And then we store these objects inside one linked list or array list, whatever we want. For this basic example, that's not a big deal. Now these details are declared. Let me generate the constructors, getters, and setters. Source, and then constructors from super class. Now the constructors are generated. Now constructor using fields, I'm generating this one. And then what I do is source, generate, getters and setters, all are selected. Now the transaction class is ready. So we'll create an object of this transaction in the deposit method as well as the withdraw method inside the bank account Java file. Okay, so please watch the methods we classes, and we have so far bank account class, insufficient balance, exception, transaction. Now what we need to do is we create an object of after this one. So let me create that. Let's say transaction T is equal to new transaction. So here this object contains all the details about this transaction. So here let's say this is kind of the we have the parameters constructor, if you remember. So let's say this is a transaction number. So these details that we need to create inside this transaction number will generate it randomly. In order to generate random numbers, Java has few options available. One among them is the random class from the util package. I'm creating an object. Random R is equal to new random. So this is a class from the util package. So let me import that. Import random class from java.util. And this class has various methods to randomly generate integers, floats, double, etc. So I'm using r.nextInt. r.nextInt. So this particular method will randomly generate one integer, which we will treat as transaction number. And the second parameter is the it's not deposit amount. So we have one transaction type, transaction amount, and something. Why does it show deposit amount here? Transaction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Second parameter is the account number. This is not the deposit amount. This is the account number to which the transaction belongs. So let's say what we'll do is we will get the account number. Let's say this is the account number for this particular object. So this dot account number, this one, this is the account number. And then the transaction amount is the deposit amount here. This is the deposit amount, and this is the transaction type. We call it as deposit. And in order to get the balance after this transaction, we will just simply add this account balance. So this will be available balance after this one. So this way, please watch it again. I'm pressing the enter key in order to show you all details in the next line. Okay, and this is how it looks like. The first parameter to the constructor is the randomly generated number, that is the transaction number, and the account number to which the transaction belongs. You look at the constructor here. This is the transaction number. This is the account number. That's where the account number, and this is the amount that goes into this third parameter, that is the transaction amount. And then what is this transaction? Is it a withdrawal or deposit? This is a string. And this is the amount after the transaction is completed. The balance is available is this much. And once this object is available, we need to store this object in a collection such as linked list or something. Okay, so we'll copy and paste the same thing inside the withdraw method. Copy this one, and then I paste it in here. It is almost same with a couple of differences. This is the withdraw method, withdraw amount, and this one is withdraw. So the transaction type is withdraw. So if you have any doubts, please mention in the comments. I will answer you. So this is the random object I need to create here once again. So I'll copy and paste this one in here. So I create it inside this method. So, and then this is completed. Now we have the transaction object available for both the withdraw and deposit methods. We need to add this object into a collection. Let me show you that. So first of all, let me create a class called transaction details. Let's say new class, and the class name is transaction details or transaction data or something. In reality, these details are stored in the database, but since this is a simple program, in order to reduce the length of the video, I'm not using any database connection. So the transaction details class is now ready. Inside this class, we'll declare one collection such as linked list or something else, inside which we'll store them. So public static list of transaction. Once again, if you're not familiar with collections or any other topic, please watch my complete core Java tutorial, which has more than 100 examples, as I already mentioned in the few minutes ago. So list is equal to new linked list. Okay, let me say new linked list, something like this one. Okay, so I will public static list. So this one is transaction. So I say this one need to be imported. Something wrong. Let me generate it. Okay, public static list transaction. Okay, transaction list. I think I forgot the name of the variable object. New linked list. New linked list, and then this is done. So I need to import this list, and these two are. This is the collection into which we store the transaction object that we created inside the deposit and withdraw method. Let me go to the bank account class. You see here, this is the bank account class. This object T inside the deposit method as well as the withdraw method, this object T, we'll store it inside this collection, that is the transaction. So in order to store that object inside this transaction list collection, we'll create one method for that. So public static void add transaction, and this add transaction method, this takes one transaction object. Let's say this is the transaction object T, something like this one. Now here, this T we will add into this one. Let's say transaction list dot add T. So what we'll do is we will call this add transaction method both from inside the withdraw and deposit methods of the bank account.java file. We'll come back to the bank account here. So inside this one, the object is now created in both the methods. So after the transaction object is created, we will add that. Since that is a static method, we can directly call transaction details dot add transaction, and this T we are adding here. This T we are adding into this T. and this one will complete the transaction. And let's say after this one, we'll print the deposit completed, okay, and transaction stored. Okay, and then we'll take these two statements copy pasted to the withdraw method. So I'm going down the withdraw method here. After this one, I'm taking this one. So here, just withdraw completed and transaction details are stored. Now we have the transaction details stored. Next thing is we want to see the mini statement for a particular account. So let's go to the transaction details.java file. Inside here, we'll add another method for the mini account, mini statement, public void show mini statement, and for which account number we want, we'll do is here. So something like this one. Inside this method, what we need to do is we should loop across this list, and inside this list, if all the transaction objects for which we have the same account number, we need to print them. So what I do is, first of all, I print these details. Let's say first of all, let print the details. What is that? Mini statement for some typing mistake. Mini statement for account number. Let's say this is the account number. This is completed. So we'll print this mini statement. And after this, let's print one empty line. This is done. Now then we need to loop across this list and then print the details. Before that, we'll take the loop there for transaction T : transaction list. So what we'll do is from this transaction list, we'll get the next transaction object into this T. From this T, we will use the get account number method and compare that one with this account number. We'll see that. Okay, so if T dot get account number, if it is same as the account number that we get from the parameter, if both are matching, then from this transaction, we need to print the details such as transaction number and then and other details. So let's say this one is there. First of all, T dot get transaction number, and then I give one dash there, and then plus T dot get transaction type. This is the transaction type, and then one dash there, and then T dot get the transaction amount, how much transaction has been done, and then one plus sign and then dash symbol there, and transaction type, and as well as the account number for which the account number is already displayed, right? So plus, and then what we'll do is plus the balance after the particular transaction, get balance after this transaction. So we get all these details printed for this particular account number. Okay, so this will be executed, and after that, and then that's it. So we are good to go. Now all these things are completed. If any corrections are there, we'll come back and fix these things. And let me close all the files. Now I'm creating the main file, that is the main Java file. Create a new Java class. That's the banking main. So let's say banking main. Inside this banking main, which is the public static void main method, let me create that. So public static void main method. Now let me create one or two bank account objects. So bank account B1 is equal to new bank account. Let's say the account number as 101, the customer name as Ravi, and then account balance, let's say some 15,000. Okay, so this is clear. And let me take another bank account object, copy and paste. Let's say account object 2 and account number is 102. If you want, we can use random here also, but that's okay. Let's say Scott, and let's say the account balance is some 25,000. Now inside the account, this account and this account, what I'll do is I will let's say perform few transactions. Let's say B1 dot deposit. Let's say I'm depositing some 1000, and then I'm depositing again. B1 dot deposit some 500. I'm once again depositing B1 dot deposit, let's say some 700. And once again, I'm withdrawing this time. Withdrawing, sorry, it's not. I'm withdrawing the amount, let's say some 2000 or 3500, something like this one. And again, I'm withdrawing the amount, let's say some 300 rupees or whatever the currency it is. We have done few deposits, and once again, let me deposit all these things. Deposit of let's say some 500, something like this one. Okay, so let me do the mini statement for this one. So all these things are now done. So what we'll do is we'll print the mini statement. So let's say system.out.println. Okay, I'm printing one line there, and then what I'm doing is mini statement I want to print. In order to print the mini statement, we need to pass in the bank account number. So transaction details dot show mini statement. Inside this one, I need to pass the account number. So I need to pass 101 for that is the B1. So what I do is 101, something like this one. Okay, so first of all, let's see the output. If there are any changes required, we'll do that. Okay, let me run this application, run as Java application, something stuck. So this is the, you see the output there. So deposit completed, transaction stored, all the 5 first statements, this is all completed, one break statement there. And mini statement for the account number, this is this one. And this is the, a random transaction number. So this is deposit. Initially, it was 15,000. We have added 1,000, deposited 1,000. This is 16,000. And this is the random number, r.nextInt, forget about that. And this is the type of the transaction. So 500. So previously it was 16,000. It became 16,500. Again, deposited 17,200. From there, we have withdrawn 3,500. This is 13,700. And from 13,700, again 300 has been withdrawn. We take this one, something like this one. And again, after this, we have deposit 500. It became 13,900. So we can copy and paste this one for B2. Let me say, let's say B2. This is B2. Okay, so I can actually change it with some shortcut. That's okay for now. I don't have too much to change. And then what I do is I will, make some 500 and then 600 and then some 200 and let's say some. We'll see if it is taking throwing any exception or something later. So for now, let's say some 2,500 and let's say some 100. Let's say some okay, some 450 or something like that. So this is done, and this is the account number 2. Let's say after this one, I will print some new line. Sorry, okay, some new line, something like this one. Now let me run this one once again. Okay, so this is the, this is the first one you have already seen in the previous execution. Now, if you look at this one, this is for the case. And now this is the mini statement. We have initially somewhere around 25,000 and 8,000 has been deposited. Is that 8,000? Yeah. Okay. 15 plus 8. It is not 15. It's 25. 25 plus 8. It is 33,000 kind of. And we got the relevant output, something like this one. Now somewhere, let's see, we withdraw the amount greater than that is available. Maybe from withdrawing, I'm taking some 35,000. You watch here. So this will throw an exception. Okay, so let's see that. Right click and then run as Java application. Okay, this did not throw. It has already thrown. You see, balance not sufficient. Okay, this transaction failed or something. We should print. That's okay for now. So this is how we can perform basic banking operations using core Java. For the sake of simplicity, I did not take multiple packages or any layered architecture. Please mention your comments, if any, in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Okay, catch you again.